Ultimately, climate is connected to greenhouse gas emission, and there are three main greenhouse gases. Carbon dioxide is the biggest quantitatively. It's not the biggest from an agricultural standpoint, but that's where agriculture has the possibility of being a positive effect by sequestering, by locking up some of that carbon dioxide as carbon into the soil. So that's one of the greenhouse gases. Another one is methane, and we're not focused on methane in this project. That's mainly emitted from livestock production, in particular ruminant production. That's being done elsewhere. The other greenhouse gas that we're very focused on, very important, is nitrous oxide. And that's connected with the use of nitrogen, whether it's from fertilizer or manure or even biologically fixed nitrogen. So when you introduce nitrogen into a cropping system and into the soil, a lot of it gets used by the crop, which is the intention, of course, but not all of it does. Some of it gets sidetracked into other pathways. It could, for example, be leached with heavy rain, or it could be denitrified in terms of being lost back into the atmosphere as unusable N2 gas. Or part of that process that produces nitrous oxide, which is very much a part of that denitrification or return of nitrogen back into the atmosphere. In a way, if the nitrogen didn't get returned back into the atmosphere, it would just keep accumulating on the ground, and that's in itself not sustainable if we keep fixing more nitrogen, even naturally. So some of it has to be returned, but unfortunately there's a side pathway that releases, instead of N2 gas, which is harmless, nitrous oxide, N2O gas. And nitrous oxide has something like 250 to 300 times the global warming potential of carbon dioxide, depending on how you calculate it. So we're trying very much to reduce that. Part of that is to reduce the input of nitrogen. Part of that is to use that nitrogen more wisely in such a way that it's not lost, either as nitrous oxide or as leaching or as runoff. So, trying to maintain control of it. And some of it will be required to stay in the soil, because if we're sequestering carbon, we're also sequestering nitrogen, because the two go hand in hand. So that's the problem, but also the opportunity is to reduce the loss of nitrous oxide into the atmosphere.